What's going on, guys? I am Jaye the Black. Salute to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure y'all like this video and share it, because this to me is the worst story of catfishing I have ever heard. I've heard some catfishing stories. I'm pretty sure we've all seen them play out on social media. But to me, this is just sad, because you have this young man, a promising college football player, who not only his career could be stalled and perhaps ended, but he could actually spend time behind bars over this situation. A situation where you had a guy pretending to be a woman, catfishing him, and probably has done that to other men on Tinder, I believe, on social media. And this to me is sad, because again, you got these young men, they're getting out the house for the first time, they're living on campus, they're away from home, and they still are a bit naive to the world. Now, I'm not here to just make excuses or try to say, in full defense mode this guy, but in this situation, I don't think he's completely in the wrong in this. I don't at all. I think that when you're catfishing men on social media, this something like this is bound to happen. I'm not saying that it should, but if you're pretending to be somebody that you're not, and you're trying to have relations with men that think that you're somebody else, that presents a whole plethora of problems. Now, this is an article from Roanoke Times, and it says Virginia Tech football player, I think his name is Ismemen, Etute. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not the best with names. I'll just call him Iife. That's why I'll just call him Iife. Told police he punched victim after meeting for an encounter. Christiansburg, a now suspended Virginia Tech football player told police that he punched a partner 5 times in the face and stomped on him after discovering the person he thought was a woman was actually a man. According to arguments presented Wednesday in Montgomery County courtroom, according to the autopsy, all of the bones in Blacksburg resident Jerry Paul Smith's face were broken, his teeth were missing, and had multiple cranial fractures. The medical examiner's office had previously revealed that Smith had passed from blunt force trauma to the head. I see David Etute, this is how you pronounce his name, y'all probably let me know in the comment section, of Virginia Beach, was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. June 2nd, the passing of Smith, a Blacksburg resident, a restaurant worker. C was granted bond in a hearing Wednesday morning in Montgomery County General District Court, but Chief Deputy Commonwealth Attorney Patrick Jensen filed an expedited appeal that would have kept Iife in jail for up to 5 more days. The two sides later on Wednesday came to an agreement to release him on a $75,000 secured bond under house arrest and electronic monitoring, according to a release put out by Commonwealth Attorney Mary Pettit. That's how you say that. The order restricts him from returning to Montgomery County except to consult with his attorney or to attend court proceedings. The courtroom was packed as Judge Randall Duncan excluded cameras from the courtroom at the start of proceedings. Smith's family was in attendance. More than a dozen football players, most of them clad in Virginia Tech gear, were there in support of Iife. Etute was in court Wednesday morning wearing an orange prison jumpsuit. A bailiff was stationed behind him throughout the entire hearing, and he was handcuffed with his wrists attached to a chain around his waist. Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Jason Morgan argued against bail and outlined new details about the case based on statements that he gave to police. According to statements, he visited the victim's apartment April for some oral after he was matched up with someone named Angie on Tinder. He returned to the apartment May 31st to engage in activity and discovered the person he was matched up with was a man. According to summaries of evidence made by both Morgan and defense attorney Jimmy Turk. Now, C told police that Smith did not assault him. C told police he punched the victim 5 times in the face and continued punching them when the person hit the ground and stomped on them. He heard bubbling and gargling as he left the apartment, but didn't call the police. Police discovered Smith's body in the apartment on the 100 block of Blacksburg North Main Street on June 1st. Turk's response to Morgan's outlined circumstances of the case was to emphasize that the victim solicited him for activity. I'm not saying what happened was acceptable, but this was more than someone just showing up to an apartment and punching someone, Turk told the courtroom. Turk explained on that point outside the courtroom, nobody deserves to pass, but I don't mind saying, don't pretend you are something that you are not. And that's basically what I was saying. Turk told reporters, don't target or lure anyone under that perception. That's just wrong. It is wrong. And that's what some people may have to understand. This young man was catfished. This young man thought he was meeting somebody that wasn't who they are. You can avoid these situations if you would just be who you are. If you are a guy that's into guys, go look for guys that are into guys. Why are you pretending to be a woman to attract these males? That's the one thing I don't understand. There are guys out there, there are gay men out there that, and if you're gay, that will want to hook up with you. Why do you have to pretend to be a woman to lure a straight man? What is it with trying to get a straight guy when there are guys out there that will hook up with you for being a man? That's the thing right here that I just don't get. But the thing is that a lot of these types of people, I wouldn't say get off, but I think that in a certain way they do get off on dealing with straight guys, being able to turn out a straight guy. You'd have to say that's what it is. But this guy, Jerry, could have avoided this if he would have looked towards getting with a guy that likes guys instead of a guy who he is catfishing and a guy who he is fooling, manipulating into believing that he's something that he's not. Because when you do things like that, you don't know how that other person is going to respond. Morgan's arguments came after testimony from Etute and his mother, Michelle. Michelle was the first witness called, and Turk led her through a series of questions about her son's background, his relationship with his family, and their living situations. Etute has 3 siblings, including a younger sister who's 15 with Down syndrome. Etute, with her voice barely above a whisper, said there is someone at home pretty much around the clock at the household with his sister requiring extra care. Etute's parents declined to comment after the hearing. The questions Turk had for Iife, Etute, were of a similar nature. He talked about the strong relationship he had with his siblings and said his parents were the strongest people I've ever known, even through this situation. The freshman enrolled at Virginia Tech at mid-year and went through spring camp with the football team. The closest Etute came to reversing the charges he is facing is when Turk asked him, how has this affected you? Real hard, Etute said. I'm trying to stay strong for the people that support me. I feel like I've let a lot of people down. I'm truly sorry for my actions. Turk got emotional arguing on Etute's behalf during the hearing and fought to fight back tears during his closing argument. And again, outside the courtroom, I've tried more than 100 cases in my lifetime, and normally I don't even ask for bail. Turk told the judge with his voice quivering. If there's ever been a time for someone to be considered for bail, this is it. Duncan acknowledged the seriousness of the allegations, and in granting bail, he said there was no evidence that Etute wouldn't appear for the trial or that he posed a danger to the community. Duncan's decision isn't without precedent. Turk cited two cases in Virginia where defendants facing second-degree charges were released on bail. He referenced the 2002 case, Jaye versus Commonwealth, and a local case involving Mark Ward Favell from 2015. Based on court records search over the last 9 years, there have been at least 3 other second-degree cases in Montgomery County, and one of the defendants, Taylor Stevens, was granted bail as well. Stevers was charged with second-degree murder in the death of her estranged husband back in 2017. She was eventually acquitted in 2018 on charge of voluntary manslaughter. Yeah, man, this case is multi-layered. There's a lot I can say to this, but Ismemen Etute should not have to go to jail over a situation where he was fooled. Now, the whole beating the guy down and stomping on him, I don't know about that. But again, when you're fooled and you're manipulated and you feel so violated, we don't know what a person is going to do in that moment. Ismemen felt like he was violated. He felt like he had been wronged. I'm not saying that the actions were the best, but I'm saying, again, when you're in these situations, you don't know how a person is going to react. Ismemen reacted the way that he felt like he had to. Again, I'm not saying that is right, but to me, he should not have to spend a bunch of his life behind bars over this. I just don't. This should be a lesson to people who are out here catfishing other people, pretending to be a different gender than the person that, you know, you're portraying yourself to be. These type of situations may occur. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. And then things like this won't happen.